Hannah,
No, I didn't cry,
you
Cullen.
didn't.
No, and I didn't send you a photo of me crying either.
It's okay to cry. There was a whole song about it on Sesame Street.
Yeah, deep cut.
Yeah.
And that's what we're talking about today, Sesame Street.
Sesame Street. Yeah. Welcome back to Not My Fantasy, the podcast where we talk about fantasy films and the lore that inspired them. I'm Cullen,
And I'm Hannah.
and today we have one of our OG fans back for round number three, Maiko Greenleaf.
Woohoo!
Hello, hello. Welcome
Thanks for
back.
having me.
This has always been that you would be on this episode.
Yep.
Uh,
It was meant
and
to be.
it was meant to be, yeah.
Mhm.
Because we like to kind of sometimes, so we have some traditions like Supernatural Romance Month that are every year, and then other traditions we kind of rotate. So we did Irish stuff our first year, I want to say, and that
Yeah.
for March, Irish Ramadan, as my dad calls the month. And then we've done Women's Herstory Month for the past couple of years with Cinderella and Snow White, feminist icons.
Mhm.
Uh, so now we're here back to the Isle of my ancestors. We're doing Song of the Sea for our first episode of Irish Folklore Month. Also, I should point out this shirt that I'm wearing that Maiko got me for Christmas. It is my name in the old Irish script.
That's so cool.
I specifically wore it home because I'm like, my dad's gonna love this, and he was like, "Oh, I love your shirt," and I was like,
Yeah.
"Well, yeah."
Yay, I win.
But yeah, we're talking about 2014's Song of the Sea by Cartoon Saloon, their second feature film. Now, Michael, you have a special connection to this one.
I do. I do. My daughter's name is Saoirse.
Oh, I love that name.
So we love this movie. She does
Mhm.
too.
Aw.
So is she named after this character, or you just loved the name and so it just kind of happened?
Yeah, no, I actually asked Matt because I'm like, I can't remember. Did we name her after this
Yeah.
movie? And then he was like, Oh no, I had it on my list like long before this. So
Yeah.
like where did this come from? He had been looking up like I think top favorite names or whatever. But I think I'm assuming it's because of Saoirse Ronan.
Right.
Like that sort of
Mm,
sparked it and brought it to popularity. And then from there, he's like, no, I just thought it was so beautiful. It's such a beautiful name. And then it helped that this movie came out and had
Yeah.
Saoirse in it. And we're like, yeah, 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 yeah.
People
For
yeah,
can
for
watch
me,
it.
it helped. It helped convince me, I think.
Oh, nice.
yeah.
Hmm.
And it's easier to show your kid than say, was it Lovely Bones or
Anything of the
Fauna,
yeah.
Brooklyn, Mary Queen of
Brooklyn.
Scots?
Hmm,
Yeah.
hmm,
Maybe,
hmm.
Listen, Brooklyn's a great movie, but that's for further down the road,
yeah, maybe Little
Yeah,
Women.
Yeah, I guess so. Little
yeah,
Women.
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. This one
Um,
definitely, yeah. Hmm.
yeah. Now, Hannah, was this your first time seeing this movie?
it was, and just like Secret of Kells, that was my first time seeing that one. So yeah, I mean, I just decided to save it because I knew we were going to talk about it on the podcast. So yeah, my first time watching it.
Now, this was my second time, my first time all the way through, because, I watched this movie. Shout out to my college ex-girlfriend. I watched this with her, and I had a habit of falling asleep in movies because the moment I was, if you know me, you'll not be shocked at this at all. I did a lot in college. I was a little overbooked, and so the moment I stopped moving, my body would fall asleep, even if I was standing.
Mm.
And
And you don't do that
I
anymore at
know, yeah,
all.
don't know,
Famously don't do
famously,
that.
famously don't do that.
Micah's face is just like, uh-huh, sure,
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
yeah.
uh-huh.
So I fell asleep, and then in a weird twist of fate, I was watching this movie slightly late, and I did fall asleep. And Rafa woke me up, and we had to like thankfully only rewind like a scene back because I'm like, wait. But I think it's also the movie is very soothing.
Yes.
Like it's
Hmm.
very musically, like the music is very much like the rise and fall of water and just like visually peaceful and beautiful. So I just feel very at ease. It's not like, oh, I'm bored and I don't care what's
Mhm.
happening. Like it's just it just lulls me.
Yep.
The song of the sea has a lullaby and it's working
Yeah.
on me. But so this is my first time seeing the end. Like seeing the beginning, I was like, okay, I remember all this. Because this movie came out in 2014. Animated fantasy film directed by Tom Moore, written by Will Collins, international co-production between Ireland, Belgium, Denmark, France, and Luxembourg. Budget of US dollars 7.5 million and a box office of 9.3 million. So modest profit, especially for like a kind of indie
Mhm.
high art piece. It
Yeah.
did,
And this doesn't have like a big wide
no,
release globally either. So that is actually very impressive considering
yeah.
that too.
It was nominated for Best Animated Film at the Academy Awards. Do you know what movie it lost to, Hannah?
See, would that have been the 2014 or the 2015 Oscars?
I think it would have been the
Maybe 2015,
2014,
2014.
2015.
Uh, Inside Out.
Big Hero 6.
Ah, classic. Love Yakira 6.
Because I was ready to be offended for whatever beat it, and then I was like, oh, okay, I do really like
Big
Big
Hero
Hero
6,
Not
6.
not too mad. Yeah.
yeah, a great movie, but comparatively, it's a powerhouse studio versus this
Yeah,
collaborative effort. So unfortunately, that definitely had the push. But I mean,
yeah.
two great contenders,
Two
absolutely.
contenders. I mean, it is hard to beat Hannah's hottest Disney crush, Tadashi.
Yes,
Yeah.
So
literally so
good.
hot he burned to death.
Spoilers for Big Hero 6.
It's like the first 15 minutes.
Yeah,
So
it's a pretty central to the premise. Yeah.
yeah.
The original music for the film was composed by Bruno Coules in collaboration with the Irish group Keela. Now there were I'm not listing all these names. I did copy the chart from Wikipedia, but they have like the character they had like four different dubs at the time of release. So English, Irish, Scottish Gaelic, and French. But the English cast, we have David Rowell as Ben, Brendan Gleeson as Connor. Now I believe
And
he was the abbot in Secret of
yeah,
Kells. Yeah.
yep.
You have Colmos Snodig as Mossy, John Carey as Fairy Dan and the Great Seneki, Liam Horkin as Spud and the bus driver, Finola Flanagan as Granny, and Donna McNeely Moir as Maka, and Lisa Hannigan as Bronick, and Lucy O'Connell as Saoirse, with Kevin Schwartz as young Ben. So quite the cast. We got a lot of lore this week. So I'm like,
Mhm.
let's dive right in with the seals.
Nailed it. I mean,
Yeah.
we briefly talked about selkies before, but we haven't like fully
Yeah,
dove into them.
when did they come up? Was it when we
I
were
want to
was
say
it
it was sometimes,
Luca? Because we
yeah,
did
I was gonna
other
say it was
sea
like
creatures.
mermaid.
Yeah. So this story takes place at Halloween and how it's like a liminal time. And we got a lot of episodes on that. Specifically one of my favorite episodes, The History of Halloween and Her Haters,
Yep.
where I get very drunk and cuss out Oliver Cromwell. But it's a
Yes.
great episode all about Halloween. And we've talked quite a few times about the Tuatha De Danann, who are long story made very short, the Irish gods who become the Fae or the Fair Folk, and they live in the other world or Tir na Nog, the land of summer. Which did we ever talk about? So in Irish dance, which I did do, and my older siblings did, there was a child dance that they called like the Tir na Nog. That was just like a fake competition for the little kids to do who were too young to actually do it. They would like
Cute.
teach you basic steps. And so my oldest sibling taught me a few basic steps, but I was very adamant that a spin needed to be added. And they're like,
Mm,
no, you don't spin
very
like that in
classic.
Irish
Classic
dance.
Cullen.
But I did do a spin and I still got a medal. So innovation.
You
Participation
showed
trophy.
them.
Yeah. Participation trophy because I was 3 to 4. maybe.
Oh.
Which is when you're young enough that the participation trophy makes sense. I
Yeah.
feel like I got one when I was like 7 once. I remember being like, I didn't win.
Yeah, it's like I understand the concept of like hard work can help you win. I
Yeah.
put in hard work, but I didn't win, but that doesn't mean I'm a failure. I don't necessarily need this trophy or this medal.
Yeah.
Like I understand, yeah, but they're like, here you go, don't be sad.
And then they were like, wow, you're so lazy because we gave you these. And I was like, I didn't ask for this.
Yeah, you are the generation that thought our generation needed that. So this is on you guys, not us.
Yeah. Tangent. But let's talk about the she or the AOShe spelled Sidhe. Mainly, there's a lot of different ways you can spell it. So the hidden folk, the people of the fairy mound, who've heard of fairy mounds, circles, trees, fairy forts. And I was about to deep dive on this, and I was like, wait, this is just the first episode of Irish Folklore Month. We got
Yeah.
an episode all about this coming up. So pause. Also, because I'm like, damn, I need to go to the library now because the internet has come so full circle that it's terrible for research
Yeah.
because of all the AI and ads. And I'm like, I don't mean this as a diss to the pagan community, but like I want something a little more academic than like a pagan blog. Not like that's a great place to start and be like, oh,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. But I'm like, that's like a modern living practice. And sometimes I'm trying to go back to like what's the oldest written record. If it wasn't for Pitt EDU, man, Pitt Pittsburgh University, I'd be struggling because
Yeah.
the internet is so bad. And it is the Los Angeles Library's 100th anniversary. So great
Oh,
time to go. But I'm like, yeah, I gotta support libraries because the internet is no longer like an easy place to do research.
no. In
Yeah.
addition to AI and ads, also the fact that ads are influencing how Google, which is still the most used search engine, is ranking
Yeah.
results. It's not purely anymore about, how the quality of the pages and the number of views and stuff like that. So, yeah, the internet hard to use for actual research. So, yeah, support your local libraries,
Yeah.
utilize your librarians.
Hmm.
These people are super smart and helpful and yeah, they're going to
Yeah.
be better than reading an AI summary being like, I don't know if this is true.
Yeah. Because this isn't even an academic paper. I'm just trying to find something that's decently accurate. I'm just trying not to
Yeah.
lie and spread information.
Yeah,
Like
is imprinting actually real or did Stephanie Meyer
make it
imprint
up.
upon us,
And she did.
And
The
she
Quaalude
did. And you
people
know
made
what?
sure that was findable on the internet.
Yeah,
They're like, we
exactly.
don't imprint.
Yeah.
But some of the characters in this film, we have Lear or Manon MacLear, the big stone guy.
Mhm.
He's an Irish sea god from whom the Isle of Man is allegedly named after. And his name means like son of the sea. That's what MacLear is. So Manon MacLear, son of the sea. And in many stories, he's kind of like an over-king of the Tuatha De Danann and the Fair Folk, deciding who gets to live where. And he appears in almost every Irish myth cycle, which we'll get into. There's like four big ones, but he's always making a cameo here or there. He's always in the action.
Mhm.
He rules several isles of the Blessed, like Maine, which is kind of a cognate or connected to like Avalon, which a lot of people have heard of because a lot of subdivisions know, because that's where King Arthur goes.
Yeah.
Famously, the chieftain Bran went to visit these isles. He was invited via magical silver branch. And Bran journeys, hangs out there. It's great. Comes back to find generations have passed. The classic fairy time passes differently. He has a chariot he can ride over the waters. Oh yeah, I have a list of some of his magic shit that he has.
Love
Um,
magic shit.
love magic shit. I have so many tabs open. Okay.
And that's the sign of a good researcher.
Yeah. So he has his self-navigating boat, the Wave Sweeper. He
Could
has
use
a
that in Minecraft, honestly. I'm famously bad at directions in that game.
uh he has an otherworldly horse, Enbar. Uh a cloak of invisibility.
Oh,
A sword called Fregarach, the Answerer. He has a spear called the Spear of Manon. the crane bag, a leather bag made of magical crane skin.
Ooh,
At high tides, it can hold every treasure in Ireland, and low tide, it's empty.
I feel
huh.
like this character is burdened. He's not going to be able to move very
Oh, he
much.
has high encumbrance.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's encumbered.
Well, I think he keeps it in his hall in the Magical Islands, and then he takes out what he needs. He's got a
Wow.
The
So
bag of
the
holding.
yeah.
right, I guess it has to be because I'm like, if you can keep islands in there, that's not encumbering you. Okay,
He's got
magic
a
shit.
he's got a pair of immortal swine. They can be eaten but are whole again.
Oh, that's
Oh,
horrifying.
yeah. Wait, hold on.
Poor piggies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, good
Uh,
for bacon, I guess,
good.
but
Yeah. And he has a woven mantle of weather weaving, which he can use to raise fog or storms and protect islands.
ooh,
Pretty cool.
that's cool.
And so his association with fog is often used as like he helps the dead pass between like the other world and the land of the living. He helps protect the islands. He helps the Fae travel. So it's a great power. And he trained the famed warrior of ancient Ulster, Cuchulainn or Cuchulainn, and he gave him the three-pronged spear that never missed, Gay Bolga. I want to call it Gay Bulge.
Yeah.
And we've probably talked about Cuchulainn before, meaning dog of Cullen, because Cu meant like dog. So there's a big dog in this movie named Cu. So it just means
Mhm.
dog. And so Cuchulainn went dog of Cullen, or sometimes it meant warrior. They call warriors Cu because they got that dog in them. Uh, and yeah, and I was named after Cuchulainn. And after this, my parents saw this movie. My dad has a lot of regret that he didn't call me Cu growing up.
Oh,
So he'll tell
yeah.
He can start
stories.
now.
He started now. He'll tell stories
I love that.
and retroactively use the nickname, or he'll
'Cause,
sometimes use it
yeah,
now.
back when Koo was just a wee lad, and he was just learning his Irish step dancing, and
Adding spins.
adding spins. Koo loved to spin.
I love to spin. Yeah. So another big character in from Celtic mythology in this movie is Macha, um, who is so if Lear is kind of like everything everywhere all at once, she's like, which Macha are we talking about? Like, there's a few different Machas, all kind of vague and nebulous. Um, Kitty.
Big Fluff. Oh,
Yeah,
oh my
Maca.
goodness.
We're talking about Maca.
Yeah, there you go. Summoned.
summoned. Not really Lear's mom though. None of these are Lear's mom, but or Man and McLear's mom. So the first is appears in like the cycle of Irish invasions, which is a text of different people that invaded and conquered Ireland in like the mythic days. And she's the wife of Nemed, one of the descendants of Noah. She moves there and dies. And everyone's like, she was great. She died. We named a hill after her. And then there's also a warrior queen who dominated Ulster. So at the time, three kings were ruling Ireland and they rotated. And her dad, Aod, was one of the kings. And she was like, well, okay, my turn to ascend. And the men are like, we don't want to share with a woman. So she beats them in battle, killing one of them, and then his sons come back for revenge. She beats them. She follows them, seduces them. They try to sleep with her, but she captures them and makes them her servants and makes them build her a fort. And she marries the third king, and they rule Ireland together, kind of like cementing their line.
Where's
Wow.
the movie on her?
I know. Like what? That's amazing.
And what's great about that is there's so many warrior queens in Irish folklore that sometimes they blend together, or people are like, are these references to the same person? Which people do in a lot of Northern European mythology. People are like, are all these goddesses just one? And I can never tell if that's an accurate, like, theological, anthropological point of view, or if
Or
men
it's
are
just
just
like,
confused by multiple female
surely there's
characters.
only been one woman who's awesome. There
Yeah.
can't be
Like,
more than that.
no.
Yeah. But speaking of, there's the Morrigan, the goddess of war, or sometimes the three Morrigan, a triple goddess of war, of three identities or three sisters, and Matka was one of these three sisters. But she fought the Formonians and was killed by Balor. So the Formonians were like evil monsters that were in Ireland before the Tuatha De Danann, and they fought, and Balor was their king with a big evil eye. She was often thought to be married to the first king of the Tuatha De Danann, Nuada, uh, and she died in the first Battle of Magtured, and she fights with magic. She can rain down fire and brimstone. The most famous of these Maka, like you may think these are all pretty interesting, except maybe that woman who just died. But the her most famous iteration is a Fey woman who one day appeared to the farmer Kunuik and just was like started living with him. She's like, "I'm your wife now." Started being his
Huh.
wife, and he was like, "Great!" And so he gets really rich and prosperous. He shows up to this festival run by the kind of tyrannical king, Conor McNessa, and he's got something to confess that his wife is really great, even though she was like, "Don't talk about me." And Bach, no, don't talk about me at all. Don't tell anyone I exist. And he's like, actually, my wife's really great. She's faster than the king's fastest horses, his new Arabian horses. And Connor's like, oh, well, let's prove that, and you'll be arrested and killed if she doesn't outrun them. So they go to get her, and she's like, what did I tell you? I'm also pregnant, and now I have to run this race. And so she wins the race while pregnant. Uh, and then falls down, cries out in pain, gives birth to twins named Honesty and Modesty. She cursed all the men of Ulster who watched and who were part of this that they'd be great warriors, but they'd be reduced to the labor pains in their hour of need.
That's kind of amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so the Toyn,
She's
which is
gonna
like,
stick those what are the pain simulators that everyone on YouTube is like, I know what
Yeah,
it's
yeah, yeah.
like to and I'm like, I don't think those are working exactly as you think they are, but sure. If you
yeah,
think that you've just experienced what it is to have period cramps or give birth. Uh-huh.
Mhm.
yeah. I feel like with those simulators, it's like, yeah, it's one thing to endure pain, but it's another to like pop a human out.
Yeah, there's like but also in general, like those things are just like they're just causing muscle spasms, but they're more like I don't think they're as deep. They can't reach as
No.
deep as the muscles and the things that are pushing a human being out of your body. So, or
Yeah,
even just like your
Mhm.
uterus contracting for menstruation, it just I just thought I'd take this time to point out that potential falsehood, you know.
yeah.
Uh, it's
We'll
something
just
Uh,
that's bothered
experiment. We'll
me.
just start attaching things to the guys until we're like, is that deep enough?
It has bothered me so much because like as much as I loved the Try Guys back in the day, but they were like one of like the first channels to really do that, and now everyone's doing it, and I'm like, it's not doing what you're really saying it is, and I believe that you're experiencing pain and discomfort, but stop branding it what it's not.
yeah. Yeah, are you showing up to work every day doing that as well? Like working an 8 hour day? Well, also, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, there you go.
Uh,
I think I've seen those though, right? Where they've also been like, it'll just like make them have a period just
Yeah,
randomly throughout the day. Like, but that's kind of entertaining for me.
exactly. It's like you're like, oh, and I'm like, yeah, that's what it feels like, kind of, sort of.
but yeah, that's
I'll
what
step off of my podium.
your podium because Mako was there casting that curse for you. She knew.
Yep.
And so that's a big part of the Toyn, the big Irish epic in which Cuchulainn or Cuchulainn is like the big star, because he was young, so he wasn't cursed. So at the time when Ulster is going to be invaded by the rest of Ireland, all the warriors of Ulster are in labor pains, and he has to single-handedly defend Ulster because he was too young to be hit by the curse.
Whoa.
Yeah,
No
Huh.
pressure.
no pressure. It's just up to him and his gay bold spear.
Uh,
So I also did some research into the Great Senachie, which isn't a specific character per se, but it's just that's the name for a specific like Irish storyteller. So as like the bards kind of phased out, the Senachies kept like Irish storytelling alive, often referring to the four great story cycles, which are the mythological cycles. That's kind of like the Book of Invasions that we're talking about, like the early inhabitants of Ireland, the Tuatha De Danann. You have the Ulster cycle, which is Cuchulainn, the Cattle Raid of Cooley, like these stories of Ulster and the Red Branch Knights. We have the Fenian Cycle, which is stories about Fionn and Fianna, Adventure Time. Yeah, and then the Cycle of Kings or Historical Cycle, which is about legendary kings. So those were the kind of like those were their main bread and butter, but they also told a lot of folk tales with a lot of landlord villains. I also looked a bit into the song Dulaman, which is a song about a seaweed collector wooing a woman. They just changed the lyrics to make it fit the movie, which is
It's
fair.
catchy. Hmm.
And then also owls. I was like, are owls associated with Maka? Um, Not really, but sometimes with the hag goddess, the Callaghan, who's kind of like a wintry goddess. And one last thing before we get to the selkies and some selkie stories. The movie opens with a quote from the Irish author Yeats, who was a big user of Celtic myth to fight for like Irish independence and national identity, as pulled from the poem The Stolen Child, Come away, O human child, to the waters and the wild with a fairy hand in hand, for the world's more full of weeping than you can understand. So, yeah, a lot of Irish stuff happening in this.
Hmm.
But Selkies, the stars of the show, are both Irish and Scottish. They're cross-cultural. And so they were male and female, but most often women who had like a coat, like a seal coat that they could take on and off, and they could be seals or people. Some posit, including a Visit Ireland website, that they were stories about Sammy or Finnish travelers who came into contact with the Irish and Scottish and would wear like heavy seal coats from their northern environment. So it was like a way of kind of mythologizing interactions I didn't understand. I'm always wary of stories like that that feel a little too neat. Um, but you never know. These stories of Selkies often fall into the ATU index. It's back, baby. Arn
Been a
Thompson
while.
Uther. Yeah, it's been a while. T Story type 400, man on a quest for his lost wife. Um, Not necessarily animal bride stories, type 402. There are a lot of stories about men on quest for lost wife that feature swan maidens, like so women who have like a swan coat that they take on and off. Hassan of Basra is a famous one in the 1001 Nights that our friends, the fairy tellers, have an episode on that one. If you're looking to hear more Swan Maiden stories, I'm pretty sure Swan Princess is a descendant of this, but it's a kind of Swan Lake is kind of she's never wifed up,
Mm.
you know. She just dies as Natalie Portman. Yeah.
Spoilers for
For Black Swan.
yeah.
So, but I did find a couple stories about Selkies. Because, and this is where I was like, these are like the most classic basic story types. How come I can't easily find these Selkie stories from a reliable source? I was reading kids' college papers from Utah. Then I was like, wait, Pitt EDU, you got me. If you're an alumni, donate there, I guess.
Or I was gonna say, I don't even live that far from Pittsburgh. I could just hop over there and just like show up to campus and be like, yo, thanks.
You're a real one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I found two stories that kind of are like the classic Selkie stories. So most stories about Selkies kind of go along this rhythm. So there's the Good Man of Wastness from Scotland and the Orkney Islands. So the good man, he sees these Selkies on the shore. They're naked and playing in the water with glee, swimming about. And so he dashes upon them, like runs up, and they all dive off. It reminds me of that scene in Hercules with Phil and the nymphs. Uh,
Oh.
yeah, just that's the image I'm getting of them all diving off. But he grabbed one poor damsel's skin and then ran off with it. So it's like they t left their seal coat on the shore, and all the other ones grabbed their skins and dove back into the water. But he grabbed her clothes before she could put them back on, her scuba suit. So she follows him weeping and wailing. She can't live with her people in the sea without her cloak. I pulled a couple of quotes because some of this Wild. So the good man was not too soft-hearted, yet he could not help pitying her in her doleful plight. And with his
Doleful
pity,
plight, bitch, this is your fault.
your fault. Yeah. And with his pity came the softer passion of love.
Mm.
His
Mm.
his heart never loved women before, that never loved women before, was conquered by the sea nymph's beauty. So after a good deal of higgling and plenty of making,
Oh.
he
Oh.
wrung from the sea lass a reluctant consent to live with him as his wife.
And how much reluctant consent was given before this when there was
Hmm.
quote unquote lovemaking?
Yeah.
Yikes.
Yeah, and as we know,
Oh
consent
boy.
should be enthusiastic.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
Wow.
this is a whole paragraph of yikes, which is I was like, let me just copy and
Yeah.
paste this in
Can't
there.
really summarize this correctly. Let's
Mm.
just,
Yeah, because this is how they're telling the story, but you're like, okay, how did she feel about this? Reluctant, I guess, and doleful. Um, and then another quote is she chose this as the least of two evils. Without the skin, she could not live in the sea, and he absolutely refused to give up the skin. So he's forced her into this situation. Um,
so, so coercion.
Coercion. So
Blackmail.
the sea lass went with the good man and stayed with him for many days, being a thrifty, frugal, and kindly good wife.
Mm.
She bore her good man 7 children, four
Oof.
boys and 3 lasses, and there were none bonnier lasses or statelier boys in all the isle. And though the good wife of Westness appeared happy and was sometimes merry, yet there seemed at times to be a weight on her heart. And
Yeah,
many,
absolutely. That's what depression is.
yeah, and many a long looking did she fix on the sea. She taught her bairns, her kids, many a strange song that nobody on earth ever heard before. Albeit she was a thing of the sea, yet the good men led a happy life with her. So
Oh, I'm
she's,
glad he had a happy
She
life.
was
yeah,
happy, yeah.
yeah. So she's doing her best. She's, I guess she's having courage and be kinding it, you could say.
Yeah.
She's enjoying her children. She's teaching them her culture, but she's depressed. And so one day, the husband takes the sons out fishing, and then she sends her other daughters out into the fields to like collect nuts or berries. And then her youngest is injured. She has a foot injury, so she's at home. And so she's instantly, this is the first time she's been like home alone. So she's searching the house. And the youngest is like, Mom, what are you searching for? And she's like, Oh, my coat. And she's like, Oh, like I saw Dad looking at a cloak he hides in this space left by the slope of the roof over the wall head that hasn't been filled with beams. So there's like a corner in the house. So she's like, I see him look at this cloak when he thinks no one was watching and hide it there. And she's like, "Oh my gosh, I love you so much. Thank you." So she finds the coat and she's like, "My good." She uses a term of endearment. A lot of this is written in very like heavy dialect. And is like, "My good child, farewell. Like love you. Bye." And she rushes off and she's greeted by a male selkie. She dives back into the sea as a seal, greeted by a male of her kind, and her husband sees her on the way back fishing with his sons. And she takes like the hood off and is in the water. And she's like, I loved you, but I love my man of the sea more. And he never sees her again.
Wow.
Wow.
So not only did this guy like coerce her into staying on land and being with him, but she literally like had like an entirely different life, different partner.
Hmm.
And so now she has like half Selkie, half human children up on land.
Yeah.
That, wow.
See, I mean, I definitely read Selkie stories growing up, so I don't know which ones those were for half them, but um, I feel like they were always, she was, single. Like
Right.
there wasn't something else besides just wanting to go home. The fact that this one actually, she had a guy too back there, that sucks.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's all terrible, but
Yeah.
You always have to think about the implications of taking someone's coat before you do that. Like always
Yeah.
think about that, you know?
I think it's very interesting that in stories of supernatural brides, like they're being kind of coerced often, whereas in supernatural grooms, it's still the man, like think of like Beauty and the Beast, like the woman is still property. So I guess just what I'm saying is in any version of these stories, no matter who's the animal, the woman's always the possession. Like, and
Yeah.
her agency and consent is not that valued.
Yeah. I mean, I know, I feel like the ones that I've seen too, they talk about how, how could she leave her children and all this, but you're like, it's complicated, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
It's a
feel like
little bit complicated.
as a kid, I would read that and be like, oh my gosh, she leaves her kids. And then
Hmm.
as I got older, you're like, well, yeah, she was
She was
forced into
trapped.
this. She was trapped, and this is her
Hmm.
one chance to escape. And I
Yeah.
think when people, with we got the Heritage Foundation Project 2025 or their next project where they're trying to get rid of all feminism, and like just all this stuff going on, there's this idealization of the past that like, no, women were always just like happy wives and mothers. And you're like, well, obviously not if these are stories men themselves were also telling. Like there
Yeah.
was people knew that to a degree that women were not to a degree, but like people knew that women were often trapped. Like people knew that
Yeah.
that's just what reality was.
Hmm.
Um, so it's this like 1950s ads that we like idealize, but it's like that's not how it was. People were running off to the sea, such as this Irish story of Tom Moore and the Seal Woman. So in the village of Kilshennig, 2 miles northeast of Castle Gregory, there lived at one time a fine, brave young man named Tom Moore, a good dancer and singer. 'Tis often he was heard singing among the cliffs and in the fields of a night. So he's out there singing Wonderwall to anyone who would
Oh
listen.
no, not Wonderwall.
Mr. Jones, yeah. So he was an orphan though. So maybe it was Tomorrow by Annie. And
Hard Knock Life.
Hard Knock Life. He was looking for a wife, and on his way to work one day, he saw a woman lying on a rock by the water. And he's like, "Girl, you're gonna drown when the tide goes up." And she's just like, "LMAO." Like she just laughs. And he keeps walking, like looking back, and she's still there. And he's like, "Ugh, I'm obsessed with her." And that he can't focus on work, he can't eat, he can't sleep. He's just thinking
Is
about
that what it
her.
takes? I have to sleep on a rock at the beach?
Yeah, sunbathe.
Hmm.
You got
That
to
sounds
sunbathe in Ireland, maybe. That's the
that
Yeah.
sounds cold.
yeah. And then he's like, I have to have her. So he comes for her and grabs her hood that she has. They didn't really specify that she had one until he grabbed it. He grabs her hood and she says, "Give me back my hood, Tom Moore." And he's like, "Oh, so you talk? Not how do you know my name?" He's like, "Oh, so you talk? God sent you to me, so you're mine. Like this, your gifts, God's gift to me." So he takes her home and she cooks breakfast. And he's like, we have to go to the priest so the neighbors don't talk. And the priest is like, where'd you find this girl? And he's like, this, he tells him how. He's like, I guess you really want to get married. You got to pay me £5. So five bucks. They're married. They have 3 sons and 2 daughters and seem happy. But one day he's looking for supplies for his plow. And as he's going through the stuff in the attic, the cloak is just stored in the attic. It's not really hidden. And he drops it and she picks it up and they hear a seal roar by the sea. And she's like, that's my brother looking for me. That same day, there were seal hunters who come into town with 3 seals, and all the women come out to look at the seals. It's just kind of like the town event. And she starts crying and weeping, and she's like, "Ah, like the murder, like the murderers who did this, like these people were murdered." And so the guys are like, "Oh, the vibes are weird. She's crying." So they just bury the seals. And then other guys are like, "Well, that's a waste. You just killed and buried them, and you went to go hunt them." So they go to unbury them, and they're gone. But that's just kind of a side fact. Because the next day when Tom is gone, she cleans the house, she washes the kids, combs their hair, kisses them all, and leaves with her cloak. And she jumps in the sea, and a great seal rises up to greet her, and they swim off. And the ending lines are that all 5 children that she had left had webs between their fingers and toes halfway to the tips. The descendants of Tom Moore and the Seal Woman are living near Castle Gregory to this day, and the webs are not gone yet from between their fingers and toes, so decreasing with each generation.
Interesting.
So wait, so
Yeah.
he just left it there and was like, it'll be fine. she's gonna stay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
It gives less of the icky feeling, more just like he's like, okay, we're doing this now, and she's like, okay, whatever, and less of like ringing the consent. Maybe there's just less emphasis on it. So maybe it seems like she seems less depressed, so he's not as worried about it. She's
Yeah, I
better at
mean,
Sure.
masking it, I guess.
yeah, there's just like a shocking lack of these stories from the Selkie woman's perspective.
Yeah.
So it's like we're only hearing it from the human man's perspective, and they're really just, you know, making the story work for them, kind
hmm
of.
But it's
All
interesting.
these men who like couldn't get a woman.
Yeah, they have to go to the
Yeah.
sea. Uh, it is interesting though because none of the stories, even just kind of reading them, there's no demonization of them for leaving the children. Like there's no commentary on that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't even seem like they're necessarily siding with the husband for kidnapping them. They're just
Hmm.
kind of like, here's the story.
Right.
And it's so that's what's interesting is they are very much still from like I would say the man's perspective,
Yeah.
but they're not like, oh, and the heartless creature ran off. It's just
Right.
like she just did, she's a creature of the sea, that's she wasn't happy.
A little more matter of fact.
Yeah. Like we it's up to us to interpret what they mean.
Mhm.
I don't know.
Mhm.
I thought that was interesting. That
Yeah.
yeah, it's never there it seems like they're sympathetic to the Selkie, even if they're told from the man's perspective, but maybe that's just my modern eyes reading it. But in this movie, I'm pretty sure the Selkie wanted to stay, or at least for a time.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if y'all seen The Secret of Ronin-ish.
The
Um,
people were talking about that movie in, in
yeah,
some of the research I was doing. Yeah,
yeah, a little different.
yeah,
More along, I think, those stories.
yeah,
Yeah, so
Interesting.
this one was more positive in and they don't really go into it too, like what that background was for Brona, like how she came to be with him and all that. But they seemed happy. She seemed like she wanted to stay, and I think she was wearing her coat at points. And it's not like she was like, "I'm going to run off into the ocean." So
yeah.
yeah.
I think it's
Mhm.
just she couldn't stay on land for too long because her hair
Right.
started turning white.
Yeah.
Well, that I mean, I don't know if we'll get to that part of the scene, but it was very confusing to me.
Yeah, there's certain details I was like, am I just confused because I'm always a little sweepy when I watch this movie, or are,
Sleepy, sleepy.
are some of these things meant to be a little mystical and not fully
Yeah.
explained?
Right.
So the movie opens with singing and mural painting. Uh Brunick and Ben are painting murals of Irish mythology, and she's teaching him her song, and he loves this. This is his like golden memory. She's in peak mom who's gonna die mode.
Yeah.
Uh,
The second I saw this, I went, oh no, not Victorian novel disease.
yeah. Uh, and she, talks about the Selkie song that it helps guide the fair folk on Halloween to Tirnanog. And the dad comes in and is like, it's bedtime. And he's so excited for the baby to come because he's going to be the best big brother in the world. Uh, but she has some labor pains.
Yeah. Well, she
And
shouldn't have been wearing those muscle spasm trigger patch things. Duh.
Duh. And then he has like some vague memories of her being like, I must go, and her hair turning white.
Mhm.
And that kind of cuts to the dad's home with Saoirse. And he's like, this is the baby, and where's mom? Mm. So he very quickly is obviously blaming his sister Saoirse for mom being gone. I love that they never
Yeah.
say it directly, but you can,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. I think that would be obviously they're both children, but I think for an audience that might be a little harder to not to say forgive, but move on from. Like you're the older sibling, you should know not to say stuff like that hurtful to your little sibling. So
Yeah.
it's a good thing, they didn't go that far or make it that on the nose. But I also love the structure of this because like even if this wasn't sort of the beginning, if we just start with him being kind of like an annoying, like a mean older brother, we could get the idea that like, okay, he has these feelings toward his little sister, and I understand that. But seeing that him being so excited about the little sibling and then it changes, obviously, I think is just like a really smart structure that just really solidifies this character that I'm like, he's going through a lot, this little kid.
Yeah. Just my first thought was like, is Hannah gonna hate him? Because at times he's giving Taryn energy.
No, I was gonna bring it up. So Taryn, when we first meet him in Black Cauldron, he's just being a little shit. He's being mean to animals, and he remains a little shit for the rest of the movie, really. But this kid is like, even if we didn't have him being so sweet, it's just like, oh, he had his mom and his mom was pregnant and she died, and now he has a sibling. Even if it was as just like even simpler as that, I still would have understood this kid and forgiven the way he's treating his little sister because I think that like those are just feelings that I immediately understand, empathize with. Taryn, he doesn't get that privilege in Black culture. They don't give him a, well, actually, he is a good kid. He's just going through something. I don't remember if he is going through something or if it's just because he's a little shit. I don't remember.
He's not
But
going through
but
something.
Ben is going through a lot. And that's what the movie ends up being about,
Yeah.
emotions and
Yeah.
stuff. And yeah, it's just a wonderful structure. And the character is super clear from the very, very beginning.
Yeah, they make them sympathetic. So even if you're just like, man, I wish he wouldn't treat Saoirse like that, you're like, well, he lost his mom. That's like
Yeah.
devastating. And his dad's also like distant and not doing anything with them and so spaced out, not present. And so
Yeah.
then you're like mad at the dad for ditching his kids like that, not being there for the kid. And you're like, well, but also he went through something devastating. So you understand why, even if you hate it. Like,
Yeah.
you get why they're all like this, and I appreciate that it's nuanced.
Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Even Granny, who at first is the most like kind of like the villain, you're kind of like, well, I do get.
I get it. I get it
Yeah.
right away. She's
Yeah.
like, you guys should be in the city. It's not safe for the kids out here.
Yeah.
And like, even though she is like grumpy, but she's like, she's putting Saoirse in these clothes and stuff because
Yeah.
she's caring in the way that she knows how to care. And she's
Yeah.
kind of being motherly in some sense there. So yeah, I mean, yeah, all these characters are just clear right from the jump.
And you
Yeah.
see her reactions too, because she's crotchety and they're like, "Oh, the old witch," but then you see how she's feeling when something isn't going the way it should, and so it also feels like it's less about that it's not a good place for the kids, but it's not a good place for the kids because dad isn't present, like the environment that
Yeah.
they're in, no one's caring for them, so it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because they're just what it opens post backstory with them on the beach, and he's just sitting on the beach with his dog Koo. Uh, he's focused on his book, drawing stories that like his mom used to tell him, and he hears Saoirse breathing, and it's like for someone who can't talk, you're really loud.
And at
Uh,
first, I thought he was talking to the dog because I think I'd like looked
yeah.
away. And so then I was like, oh, he's talking to his little sister. I was like, that's so funny.
It reminds me of a note when my oldest sibling had some surgery, is that they weren't supposed to talk, they were supposed to write notes. And we found a note from years later that said, Cullen huffed in my face.
That's so funny.
And that's just classic. It's like you're with older sibling, like "Ah, you're too loud, you're too near
Mm-hmm.
me, you
Just
breathe too much.
existing.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't even like tell your parents. They're just like waving this thing, and your parents are like, I'm doing stuff. Are you in pain? No, okay, I have to do this. And he's just finally like fine. And he just throws the paper away and just you find it a couple years later.
Cross it out, make it say "coup."
Cool. Yeah,
Who?
rearrange. Yeah. I do instantly feel bad for Saoirse though, because he like kind of kicks her off the rock, and
Yeah.
you're just like, because she just loves him so
So
much,
sad.
and
Well, because
she's
he has coup and she has no one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
This
sad.
poor thing. So a lot of summaries will say, "Oh, the father neglects him and dotes on Saoirse," and I was like, "Really? I did not read. I didn't read. I could read the dad being neglectful, but not that like Saoirse's the favorite. Like, I think this kid just unjustly
I
blames her, and he
yes.
views the dad not being mean to her as favoritism.
And also, this is taking place on Saoirse's like sixth birthday. So
Yeah,
he's gonna dote on her because it's her birthday. It's not, I don't necessarily read it as like, oh, that's standard. I
yeah,
imagine that he probably hasn't really even talked to either of them for a while. And it's like, oh, well, it's her birthday. I should kind of snap out of it, you know?
yeah.
I
Uh,
mean, I could see that that's the interpretation because then later when they're on the lighthouse and he's trying to talk to him and he just completely ignores the brother, goes to the
Right.
sister, like
yeah.
that sort of thing. And then it does feel like their interactions, throughout the beginning sequences are like he's yelling at him,
Hmm.
Mhm.
because he's being mischievous. So it makes
Yeah,
sense, but like if that's the only time he's getting anything is when he's being mean to him, you
Right.
know.
yeah.
Okay.
Because Saoirse goes out into the water to play with the seals. She sees the seals. And he's like, "You can't go out in the water." Dad says, "I'm in charge, so you can't just do whatever you want." And he goes in the water after her and he thinks he's drowning and he's panicking. And
And
it cuts to,
this sequence, this little scene is so long, but for like the best comedic timing, because first it's like his little sister, he's crashing in knee-high water, and she walks out, and I think it's like
And she like,
maybe waist for her, waist high,
yeah,
knee high,
yeah.
and then Koo behind her, and he's still flailing, and it's just like this is like a 25, 30-second sequence of just him struggling, and it's so funny.
But I do feel like it was an important note in that like he didn't go after her. Ku went after her and
Yep,
dragged him along because he was strapped to Ku.
yep,
And
yeah.
like you could tell that he was panicking about the thought of going in the water. So it's
yes,
not
He's,
like he's like, stop, Saoirse, but he wasn't gonna go in and it was
yep,
Ku that made him go. And so you're like, okay, so he's clearly associating something bad with the ocean and like going
yeah.
in the
yeah.
ocean.
Yeah, that the ocean took his mother away.
Hmm.
He wears a life jacket at all times until the
Yes.
very end.
I I didn't quite put it together it was a life jacket until like maybe halfway through the movie, and then I was like, oh, weird, orange. And I was like, oh, that is literally a life jacket. I just thought it
Yeah.
was a little puffy
I thought it
jacket.
was a puffer vest.
That's
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah. And
I was
then
like
I'm like,
80s.
yeah, yeah, right. And then I was like, oh, is that a life jacket? And then toward the end, it was definitely confirmed. I'm like, oh my God, that's crazy. So yeah.
And you also get maybe why grandma's like, these kids are not doing well if one is wearing a life jacket
At all
24/7.
times. And
Yeah.
also, they live at a lighthouse, so it's like they're surrounded by water. This
Yeah.
kid clearly is afraid, but also prepared. Yeah.
Uh
Yeah. The way that Saoirse like walks up to him though is so funny.
Yeah.
It really is great. She's just like, "Are
She's
you
confident in the
okay?"
water. Yeah. Who's like, I don't know
Yeah.
what to do about this.
Mhm.
Yeah.
upstairs because he's like, "Dad, she almost drowned me. You have to," well, he says, "You have to give her out." And then he's just like, "Oh, it's your sixth birthday." He's like, "So you're not gonna give her out?" He's just like, "Ah." There's the
Yeah.
birthday girl. Also, he has this shell. Ben has this shell that his mom gave him that she says you can hear the song of the sea, and Saoirse grabs it, and he's like, "You have to put it back. You're always stealing my stuff."
He has it kind of like on a shrine
Yeah.
almost
Hmm.
on his side of the room. Yeah.
Grandma arrives on the ferry, and she's like, "What the fuck is this? This place is a mess. This is what Saoirse's wearing for her birthday. You gotta get her dressed. We gotta put this together." And she's like, "The kids belong in the city." And they're taking the picture with the birthday cake and candles, and Ben, the little shit,
Hmm.
gets this idea.
This is where it becomes tyrant older brother behavior, but it's still like it's within the sphere of things that are forgivable,
Because he's
right?
like 8.
Yeah, that and it's just like maybe it's just because of like our current times, but it feels like a lot of people, especially with the rise of social media, are getting their faces slammed into cakes a
It's an
lot. So
epidemic.
it
Everyone's face is in a
is,
cake at all
and it's all
times.
because of this kid. He started it. No, but it's like it's not like this was like a giant embarrassment. Like she didn't have like a bunch of friends over or anything.
Yeah.
It was literally just a family. He was just like being annoyed and yeah.
But it's something that if they were a chill family would be funny
Right.
later, you know.
Exactly.
But
That's the other thing.
because of
Yeah.
the tensions, it was like, oh my God, this whole terrible
Yes.
thing. Yeah.
Because also
Yeah.
he wasn't just screwing this up for Saoirse, he was also messing up for Granny. You know,
Hmm.
like he
Yeah.
was like, I'm gonna, because Granny got her all dressed up and
Yeah.
yeah.
So, because Saoirse, if I recall from the pictures, doesn't seem that upset.
No, I don't think
No, she was
so.
kind of confused. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dad who got mad at Ben.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Uh,
Ben ruined this picture
Hmm.
perfect moment,
Yeah.
yeah.
but he
Because she
didn't.
did, because Saoirse didn't even like the clothes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing is like it's not like this was felt very special for
Hmm.
her in general. She was just kind of like, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's like this is just classic shitty older brother behavior when
Yeah.
they're kids,
The
you know.
grandma calls him a little terror, and I'm like, it's true.
Yeah.
Because I see
Yeah.
that, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Read a room, bro.
Yeah. Uh, and so they go upstairs, they're sent to bed. And she wants a story. She comes with he's always playing with the book of pictures and drawing pictures. So she's like, here, story. He's like, oh, you want a story? And he's like, oh, the witch Maka is gonna come, and she takes people's feelings and turns them to stone. So she's gonna come and take dad's feelings away, and he's gonna turn to stone, and then no one will love you.
It's so sad.
Yeah.
And then she's instantly like devastated, and he's like, "Oh no, it's just a story.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
He
wasn't just
tries to
bullying
kind of,
you."
yeah. And then you can see he feels bad a little, but not enough to say anything.
Yep.
Yeah, like I think this is as close as he's gonna get to being like, you killed our mom, you know? Like
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I think it's also something that like I understand why he does kind of emotionally terrorize her is because he's hurting and hurt people, you know, not to be the cliche, but you know,
Yeah,
Hmm.
and there's no one kind of monitoring
yep.
his grief
Yes,
and
exactly.
telling him not to. He gets yelled at, but no one being like, "Well, why are you?"
Yes.
Yeah. Let's process this.
They're
Yeah.
not helping him process the feelings instead of being like, okay, instead of lashing out, when you feel this way, here are some other more productive ways to handle it, you know. Yeah. Is that good, Tita?
Yeah. See, she's trying to stay off camera.
Yeah, she's, you know, she doesn't, oh,
Yeah.
little tail.
No tail. Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean this scene reminds me of when my older brother, oh, you're gonna step
Good
on the
Tita.
Kitty
she
ears.
loves to step on the laptop. Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
Please don't stop the recording, Katita. Thank you.
All right. We made it through. Recording is still in progress.
Yeah, we're good. We're good.
Um, I remember my brother telling me, you should be scared of monsters. You should be scared of the devil coming to possess you.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Wait, was that because he was just like tormenting you, or is that like a thing
I
you guys
can't
genuinely believe?
I think
That
he
like
was just trying, I think he was actually trying to be logical with me. I
Oh,
interesting.
think it's what
Okay.
makes that even funnier is when I think of the story, I don't think he was particularly like trying to be mean. Maybe he was, but that's not how I remember feeling at the time.
he's trying
It's
to make you feel
like
better.
he's
Yeah.
like, well, we're Catholic, so we believe these kinds of things. So clearly these monsters aren't real, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
demons, you got to worry
Yeah.
about that.
That is
That's the thing you
real.
should really worry about. I mean, yeah, the logic is there. I understand.
Yeah.
That's also hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That my mom did not appreciate that advice from him.
Because on
From
top of
me.
being afraid of the monsters and the stories that you were reading, you're also afraid about being demonically possessed.
Yeah.
So now it's like double whammy.
Yeah. Uh, so back to the story. She when she goes to bed after they fall asleep, she takes the shell and she starts playing a song on the shell. And we get these like magical music notes that lead her to a key and into a closet where she finds like a chest. Inside is a seal skin, kind of white cloak. And she goes into the sea.
Yeah. Ah,
This was
you disappeared,
this was
but
my
yes,
yeah.
My white cloak. Ah, you're
Worn
so
on
yes,
cute. Yeah.
very,
my
very
selkie
good.
cloak.
We get a great sequence with her and the seals. I was
Yeah.
watching this with Rafa, and he was very stressed. He was like, "Oh no, like what's gonna happen? She's going to the water." And
Oh
then he
yeah.
was like,
No,
"Oh,
truly,
okay,
truly though, like worst nightmare, like as you know, a parent watching it, like she's going out at night by herself. Like, what if the selkie thing wasn't real? You know, like she's trapped in
Yeah.
the ah, yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
otherwise it was really cute, but
yeah." He was like, "I can't watch this." I was like, "No, just a few more seconds, and this,
And
and
this will be
you'll."
the cutest thing you've ever seen.
she's glowing. Like you could tell, it's good, it's good, you know. So
Yeah,
yes,
and she's just like this little white seal. It is so
hmm
Yeah,
it's
cute.
so cute.
Literally, it like the glowing whiteness was giving like if this image had more pinks and purples in it, it would be giving Lisa Frank. Like that's how like
yeah,
cutesy adorable
Yeah.
it was. Yeah.
Neon colors. Yeah.
Yes,
And
exactly.
I like the little sparkles, you know, they look like little plankton or like, you know, some seashelly thing, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
floating in the air, like all spirally and pretty and yeah.
Yeah.
So she's having the time of her life.
Found her true form.
Found her true form. But goes back to the shore, and grandma, she likes to wake up and be like, something's not right.
Women's intuition.
Women's
We talked about
intuition.
this. Was that last week?
Frankenstein.
Yeah,
I
last
was gonna
episode.
say it reminds me of Miss Clavel in Madeline. Do you remember the Madeline cartoon?
Yes, she was one. She was like, was she the head nun that was?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And she would wake up and be like, something is not right, and like run
yeah,
around. Yeah.
yeah. I also think that grandma's intuition, just like something mystical, a shaking of the earth, woke her.
Yeah.
So like there's a power there, with grandmas being able to, also similarly to like how mothers have eyes in the back of their heads, those kinds of
Yeah.
things. I
It's
I
too
believe in
quiet.
that. Yes, I believe in that. That is the magic I believe in.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I
so
mean,
she,
I have eyes in the back of my head for my cats, especially this one, Edgar. Looks away like, I don't know what you're talking about.
so she sees her kind of like washed up to shore and is like,
She's dead. Like
yeah.
her first thought probably.
And then it's like, okay, she's cold, she's gonna catch cold, she's coughing. And they're like, this cannot, she's like, this, we can't be like this.
She gets all of the ammunition she needs to, you know, take her grandchildren away because it's like, what can the dad really do at that point? She has that's the proof of like the kids are not safe here.
Yeah. She takes the kids to, is taking the kids to Dublin, packing up their stuff. Ben does not want to leave. He's like, this is all Saoirse's fault. She's ruining my life. Why do I have to leave? And he has to be separated from Koo.
Who,
It's a rough
yeah.
scene.
Wait. But the selkie cloak, he picks up the selkie cloak when in the bedroom, you know, and it's like,
Mhm.
Dad, what's this?
Yeah.
You feel
And
like
the
that was a nice first moment of like, hey, something's a little different.
and this is when the dad throws he throws the silky cloak and the key into the sea. He's like, I should have done this
Yeah.
years ago. Um,
Yeah, it's like he knows what's going on.
yeah. Yeah, it's
It's
very
just
much trying to separate a child from like a cultural heritage,
yeah,
you know. Uh there's a lot to, it makes me think of like indigenous schools, like the schools for indigenous children. It makes me
Yeah,
think of, like maybe parents who don't teach their kids Spanish because they want them to just be fully integrated or whatever language. So because they want their kids to be
right.
fully integrated into like the US culture or, you know,
Did we also talk about, I guess we'll just mention briefly, but not only is it Saoirse's birthday, but it is also the anniversary of his wife's passing. And
yeah,
so like all of this culminating in one night is like really intense. So it's like he had all those memories and probably knowing that she was a selkie too, he's like,
yeah.
you know what? We're gonna get rid of all of this baggage because my kids have to leave and I'm just getting rid of it.
And because he was out at the pub drinking when all this occurred and not
Yeah.
Yeah.
having a merry old time, just kind of sitting and staring at the beer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
His
don't even think he drank it.
anniversary, no, he didn't even drink it. It's his moment of his depression, I guess. But then yeah, with throwing out the Selkie cloak, he was also like, I can't lose her too, like that sort of
Yeah.
sense of
Yep.
must keep Saoirse here and prevent her from doing basically what Bronna did.
Mhm.
So we got a heartbreaking boy and his dog separated scene. And as they're driven out to Dublin, Grandma says there'll be no tears in her car
Or in the
or
house.
in the
And then
house.
he's drawing like the funniest map. He's like creepy mountains and
Yeah.
house a village and then crosses out just says just houses. So it's like there's no like I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just like a couple houses scattered, not even a village. It's just so funny.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Because he's tracking how to get back to Koo.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh, and they arrive in Dublin on Halloween. The kids are trick-or-treating in the street, lighting a bonfire. Uh, and Grandma takes them home and she basically sits them on the couch and starts drinking tea and listening to the radio. It's like, oh, this is a good song. So she's like, I know what's best, and it's just kind of sit here and be like static.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah, this woman hasn't raised kids in a long time.
yeah. So he's listening to rock music, but Saoirse is singing into the shell, attracting the Fae, but she's also putting on Granny's coat. She's like,
And
oh,
then
it's like a
she
seal
finds the
coat.
fur coat.
And she's
Uh-huh.
sitting in a tub pouring the shower water on herself.
She's like, I just want to go back to my true form. It's
It
so
Yeah.
was so great.
cute.
And Grandma
She's like,
freaks
surely
out.
any coat, any thick coat will work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I no one's
Animal
explained
coat.
this to me yet.
No.
So,
Fur's fur. I'm gonna
yeah.
leak water onto the floor, make it drip through the ceiling onto Granny.
God.
It was so good.
Granny freaks out. Her best coat is ruined. They're sent to bed at 4 p.m. And he's like, well, I'm leaving. I'm gonna find Koo. You can't come with me. And she's
But it
like,
was great because she was like playing on the shell, and like you could see that the music and everything is going out into the world and into the rest of like the island, and like you start seeing the creatures that it are hearing
Yes.
it, including the fairies in that little
yeah,
mound.
yeah, in the middle
So,
of the city. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that at some point like you see like a sewer grate open, I think. Is that in Dublin or was that before? I can't remember. But I'm pretty sure on the sewer grate it said feck off. And I
Yeah,
was
no, it
like,
did.
wait. I was like, isn't that a curse word? And this is a kids movie, but I was like, maybe this isn't fully a kids movie. I don't know how
Yeah.
Europe does that. But I was like, does that say feck off? I was like, that's
It does, and
wild.
it was great because when it came on the screen, so like I've seen this movie before, obviously, and but I rewatched it, and Saoirse was with me, and she's like, "Oh, that's my movie," She's
Of
watching it,
course.
and we're like looking through everything, and then it gets to that part, and she starts to read the grade
Oh
because she
no.
didn't know what that
What she's
was,
like, how do you pronounce this?
Yeah, so I don't
Yeah.
remember how she pronounced it, but I was like,
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, but I did also think the same thing. I'm like, isn't this supposed to be a kid? I mean, I guess it's fine.
I mean, I guess
Hmm.
that I saw that I was like, that is so funny, and I was like,
Hmm.
couldn't be America. We wouldn't
Yeah,
do that.
yeah.
It would be something that like a BuzzFeed listicle would write about. It would be alongside like the the boner and the Little Mermaid,
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But
Uh
then the fairies come out and go hide into the
Yeah.
garbage can
yeah. Yeah, the fairies,
near
there's like
Granny.
a fairy mound that the road is built around, which is actually something that does still happen. Where they if it's a fairy site, they don't disrupt it.
Love it.
And yeah, they come out, they're looking for the selkie. They hear the song, they're like, a selkie's out. It stirs the owls too, like a
Hmm.
spies.
Yeah.
Um, but Ben is like, I'm going to find Koo and leaves. Uh, and Granny is like seeing these fairy goblin people hiding in the trash can and is like, don't these kids have anywhere to go to? Like,
Yeah, she's like, it's not
Hmm.
safe. And it's like, isn't it 4 p.m.?
yeah.
It's probably fine, honestly.
And so she goes on, so Saoirse goes off to follow Ben, and he's annoyed. He's like, well, you can't come with me. And then she's just following him with her breathing, and he's like, so he attaches her to like the leash she has for Koo
Yeah.
that keeps her from running too far. But she's still playing the shell, which he's like, fine, you can borrow it. And
She sneezed on it.
yeah, she
Yeah.
sneezed. He's gonna take it back, so she sneezed on it. So he's like, you can borrow it until you can clean it off.
Yeah, there better not be boogers on it when I get it
Yeah.
back, right? Or snots, I think he
Yeah.
says.
And the music notes or the magic notes kind of lead them. She runs off in an alley and meets these little fae who take her into the mound, and they have to cross the street. And Ben is attached to her, and he's being dragged along. He's almost hit by cars. It's intense. And he has to go into this entrance that says "No humans allowed." He's pulled in, and we see this like underground area where they're all stone, except for these three last she, and they're singing Dulamon with her about the Selkie song, and he knows the other lyrics because they're like sing, and she's just like, uh.
Yeah.
So he can fill out the lyrics.
Yeah, and he's like, she doesn't even know how to talk yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and they brought the fur coat thinking it was her skin, and it
Yeah.
wasn't. So
Oh
they're like,
yeah,
"Oh
because
no, we don't have her actual one."
Granny
Yeah.
threw it away. That's why they're in the trash can.
Yes, yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Uh, and so they're like, wait, she's not fully ready to be a Selkie, but we need her to take us back, or it'll be too late because otherwise all the fairies will be stuck and they'll die. So all the supernatural creatures, their fate's on the line. Why exactly?
What's been
Unclear.
happening these last 6 years?
Unclear. But they're stressed. And the owls show up to come for Saoirse. And they turn the Fae people into stone. But she plays on the shell and it scares them away and it frees their heads.
Yeah, just left their heads. Okay.
So they're like, you have to get her back to her coat. And he's like, well, I'm going there for Ku anyway, so it works out. And on the bus, he's like, so you're a Selkie? And she's just like, hmm?
She's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, she
Is
doesn't
that what
she
it's called?
it isn't like a yes, She was
Yeah,
kind of like, you know, I
She's
guess.
like, I'm just quirky.
just a quirky little 6 year old. Uh, and she launches them out of the bus.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he pisses her off about something, and she's like rams into the emergency exit door, and the bus driver's like, you could have just told me you wanted me to stop the bus.
Yeah, because
And
she wants to follow the music notes into the field, right?
yeah, he's
Yeah,
like, it's
yeah.
too dangerous. But she follows the
Yes.
notes. And they run back into Ku, who jumped
Yes.
off after them when they were being taken away.
Mhm.
So they're reunited, and it starts to rain, and so they take shelter in like a holy well, which I got to visit one of those when I went to Ireland. I tied something to the tree, left it there. My depression wasn't cured, but I thought it was at the time. Um, so, but
Maybe it just took a while.
it just took a while, yeah. It's a medication, yeah. So she kind of follows the notes into the well, is like pulled in, and he's scared to go after her, but obviously Ku keeps him going, and they get separated down there in all the water.
Oh, there
But
was the cute moment though at the like when they were still in the little shelter when 'cause he had to walk through the stinging nettles like with her on his back. She's starting to
Yeah.
fade. So then he
yeah,
like
her hair is turning
had to
white. She's
carry
getting
her.
sick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she's sick. So like he has to carry her in. And so he takes the brunt of like just the pain on his legs. And then she goes in and she finds like herbs that are good for him to like soothe his legs. And like they have a
Yeah.
sweet moment. You're like, oh, they can be
They
friends.
can be friends.
Yeah. And
Hmm.
also I think it just like he still has those big brother instincts of like, well, I need to help her. I need
Hmm.
to,
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
the one to take on this pain, because she's too little, too sick, whatever.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it's like it's also like with these moments, he's not just being mean to her all the time. It's like he's going back and forth because like he loves her, but he's also got complex feelings about everything else. And it's just like this feels very normal and real of like a relationship
Yeah.
for little
Yeah.
siblings.
And
So
when
But
they
especially
like
have,
little
in the
siblings who
woods,
went through that.
yeah. Oh, there was that switch too, though, like where originally she was playing the notes and they were following the notes, and then at a point he swaps to be like, "No, we need to follow my map because I know what's best and I
Yep.
know how to get there,"
and he
and
takes
that's
them
kind of where
into
they're
the creepy woods, like the
Yep.
very
at.
obviously creepy woods, like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
we're following my map. And she's like, sure.
Yep.
No, and I love the art that they did for that, where it's like really like geometric and like it helps kind of create this like otherworldly feel to the space, and you're like, oh no, what's gonna happen? And then it was cool and that worked out, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the whole design of this film is like Secret of Kells, this kind of like stylized artistic illustration view. It's not your traditional animation style. Um, which I think
Yeah,
is
it's
like
gorgeous.
it's like worth the watch in and of itself. Like the story is really good,
Mhm.
which is what we've been talking about, but like the visuals are just like,
Beautiful.
yeah.
Yeah, they're like this really lovely, like Celtic, geometric vibe, but the way they have it where the perspective is kind of removed too, so there's like a
Yeah.
lot of flat,
Flat.
interesting textures, and then they have the watercolor on top of it, so like it softens that sort of, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so pretty.
Yeah.
The art is so good.
Yeah. Uh, and so she follows the notes into the well, right? Yeah.
Yeah, she's
Uh,
just like, you keep looking at that map, I'm gonna
I'm
go
gonna,
dump
I'm
myself into
being,
this water.
yeah, I'm being summoned. And then he's like, okay, okay. And he's like, no, I can't do it. And then he gets
Again,
taken down
coup.
anyway.
Yeah,
yeah.
it's like,
Yep.
we're going.
Yep.
And in all the water and all the chaos, the owls come in, take her away. They're separated.
That that part honestly confused me a little because like she just goes in and then he goes in after her and then gets separated from Ku. So he's lost both of them, pops up and then it's just like, well, I guess I'll just keep going. And you're like, did you not worry that they're drowned underneath you? Like,
Right. Yeah.
you almost drowned. What about the girl whose lungs are half your size? Like,
And
was
who's
it not
Right.
a
sickly.
concern? Who's
Sickly.
sickly? And then they show like the snippet and it's like, oh, she like got taken away by but so I'm like, did we miss a scene? Like, did they cut something for time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
I
felt
thought the
confused
same
too.
thing.
And I was like, is this
Yeah.
because I'm sleepy or am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
Because this is where he meets the guy with all the hair that has the
the gr
Yeah.
memories and
He's
stuff,
like, it's
yeah.
right?
kind of
Yeah.
key. Yeah.
Yeah.
And he sings again to kind of like prove that he's more than just a lost human child, that he knows what's
Yeah.
going on. And the Descendant Key is like, well, I know all these stories. They're in my long hair.
Mm.
I got the same person as Rapunzel. We have the same stylist. I keep the memories of the world in my hair. Which I think the tightness Nemophtheme, which is probably not how you pronounce it, but that's how I read her name as a kid, who's the mother of the Muses, had really long hair that she kept her memories in. So next
I
time I
just
see
thought
someone
when I
with long
saw
hair, I'm like, that's full of memories.
no,
Mhm.
Shanaki looked like Gollum when they like go into that space, and I was like, who is this creepy little creature sitting in this mound of like streaky things everywhere? And then you're like, oh, it's his hair. Like still a little weird, but okay.
He's kind of like Gollum meets he brother Aiden in Secret of Kells. Like they look kind of similar in my brain.
Hmm.
Uh and so using the hair memories, he's able to see that Maka took away Lear's sadness, not out of like a, oh, she would even do this to her own son, but because she was compassionate towards him.
Yep.
Uh, and he also sees his own past in there. He sees like a lot of stuff we saw before, but he also sees his mother going out into the water, uh, her hair turning white. We see the father washing up with Saoirse in his arms.
That
Uh,
was another part that I'm like, why did her hair turn white? Was it because something was going wrong? Because she clearly had him, like Ben, fine, so it
yeah.
wasn't like the childbirth in and of itself, so like, okay, something's wrong. And
I wonder
and
if
so
it
I guess.
I wonder if it was because she was part Selkie, because Ben isn't part Selkie, which I actually thought what the movie was going to end up revealing to us that like both of the kids are Selkies, but Ben's just hasn't quite like developed. But that never happened. But because that's
Because
what I
and
just kept
selkies are girls. Yeah.
More often,
more
yeah.
often, yeah.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's what it was, is that like because she was having a girl, things were going wrong because she's giving birth to a Selkie, but as a human in her human form, maybe.
Oh,
Um,
yeah. Maybe
but
she needed to
yeah.
give birth as a seal.
But then
Oh,
so then
maybe.
my because I was thinking that I was like, maybe it's something, with the seal, but then she dies, question mark.
Question mark? Yeah.
And you're like, why did she have to die? Like,
Yeah. It's there's so many questions.
yeah.
But I think what's great about the movie is that it doesn't detract from the story. It's just kind of like, oh, well, now I kind of want like just like a couple more like outtakes. Can I have the
Yeah.
outtakes, please? Just a little more extra lore. That's kind of just
Yeah.
genuinely interested.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Uh, and he's also reminded of his mom saying, "You're going to be the best big brother ever," and then he's
Yeah.
like,
Oh, I've been
"Ooh,
pretty bad.
yeah." And so he's like, Search is captured. The Selkie needs to be freed and reunited with her coat so she can sing, so we can get to the Fae folk can get to the other world, or they're all gonna die.
Because something is happening. It's
Yeah,
not being explained, but it's like we're about to miss our window,
yeah. It's as
basically.
Vanessa Hudgens would say, people are gonna die, which is inevitable,
Unfortunate, inevitable.
unfortunate, but inevitable.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
that's what it was.
yeah. Uh, so, but maybe it's not inevitable. He has to go to Maka's lair to get her. He's taken to her witchy cottage, uh, and he's hopping on these stones. They're giving him advice, encouraging him.
Mm-hmm.
I was curious about those ones because the fairies in the mound in the
Yeah,
city, they were there were the three that were left that were still alive and well, and then the rest of their peeps were all statues. So they had already clearly been taken, their feelings were taken by the owls, and so they were the only ones left. Got to save them all, but they were still. And then like they found one on the side of the road, and they're like, "Oh, I wonder if this is one of the fairies," while they were walking around. Also
yeah.
still. But then you get to Maka's, and the ones that are in the water there were all like, "Hey, what's up? Hey, watch out!" Like they're talking to him.
Yeah.
So I'm like, What's the difference with the statues? I'm curious if like there are different kinds of statues.
I
Yeah.
I felt like it's because the Selkie's magic had been a move-in,
Mm.
Mm.
and that was altering things.
I just thought it was maybe it was proximity to Maka that like they're still so close to their feelings that they're just like stuck in those jars right there that maybe those other ones they're so far away from the jars of their feelings, maybe.
Hmm.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, and we get to the inside the house. This house is given
Cozy.
cozy.
Sorry,
That
not a witch's cottage, super cozy. I want to live there. Like
yeah.
not a scary witch's cottage as we've been
Yeah.
made to believe that she is. Super cozy. I would live there with her.
And so she's very cozy. owly. She is an owl witch, but she's also part stone. And she's like, I know what's best for everybody. All these feelings, they get in the way. And she's like huffing her feelings into jars whenever she gets too upset. So
And
she's,
the the part of me that's like, man, I really wish I didn't have depression and anxiety is like, man, I wish I could do that. That's
yeah.
kind of the point of this movie, and her part is like, you
Yeah,
shouldn't do that. And I'm like, but it's so tempting.
yeah. Oh, I was gonna say I do love the similar and like how they made the similarities between Granny and Maka and like
Hmm.
visually, but then also some of those personality traits was fun.
Yeah. Like it's not I'm an evil witch, just want people to have feelings. It's like this kind of buttoned up repression that a lot of people, especially of older generations, utilized to just survive, like to
Yeah.
deal with everything they were dealt with. It's like you just bottle up those emotions, you stay calm. Um, and she's like, you can get rid of those emotions too, Ben. Like, you're so sad. Like, let it all into the jar.
He
Uh,
almost gives in, like you see it kind of like being like sucked out of him, but then he snaps out of it.
yeah,
Yeah, because
because
he's like, don't you want, what if you could have someone take away all your pain about your mom? And he's like, yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
yeah, but he's like, but then he realizes, Saoirse's up there. She needs
And here's
him.
Koo,
And here's
Koo
Koo.
barking.
Yeah, the dog barking is always a great way to wake you up. Uh, and so he runs upstairs to find Saoirse, and she's chasing after him, trying not to get too emotional. She's upset, and he gets upstairs, and Koo sits on the door hatch, so she can't get up.
Yeah.
And poor Saoirse is sick and almost stone.
Yeah, she's half
She's
stone too.
Yeah, the owls are beating on the windows, and he's like, "You gotta sing, you gotta play the shell," and she can't, and he's like, "I'm sorry, I've been a bad brother." He tries to help her sing, but he's like, I'm sorry," and he just kind of sits with her, just kind of like, "Well, if this is how we're gonna die, I'm gonna do it with
Yeah.
you." Um, but because kind of gives her the words, she picks up the song for in the shell, and the notes are start to break all the glass that are
Mm.
holding all the emotions, which was like sunshine and rainbows and storm clouds, and so all the emotions come pouring out.
That's what's so interesting is that like she chose to take away, you know, the really happy ones
Hmm.
and just like any emotion that was sort of just there. It was like it's better to be stoic and flat than to
Yeah.
have
Hmm.
the ups and downs, even if they are really good ups and stuff. So I just thought that was really interesting because I just assumed it was just all going to be storm clouds, but nope.
Hmm.
There's some rainbows. There's that moment where like she like gets really happy and she like laughs and then she's like really angry and I was like, wow, that's really interesting.
Hmm.
Yeah. Because all the emotions start pouring back into Maka.
Mhm.
And as she's restored her emotions, she realizes kind of the error of her ways.
Yeah.
She's like, I'm so sorry. You need to get her back to her coat, though, because even though Saoirse's freed from stone, her hair's turning white. She's Anna from Frozening. She's getting
Yep.
real sick. And she's like, let me give you my magical hounds, take you back home. You got to get her the coat so she can sing and save all the fey creatures. So they rush back with the help of the hounds. Um, and they're back. And the dad is like, what are you doing here? Oh my gosh, she's so sick.
Well, also, we want to quickly mention that Granny, real life Granny,
Woke up and
wakes
was
up and she's
like,
like, oh, they're gone. And so she's also on the
on
run
yeah.
Yeah.
along, not
But
alongside
but
them,
I
but
love she
tailing
put them
them.
to bed at 4 o'clock and then never checked on them, and they had a window to the front street.
It's been
Got
a
more trained.
while. She's
Yeah.
she's a little,
She's out of practice.
yeah.
She forgot how clever kids can be.
Yeah. She's like, they're sleeping for sure this whole time.
Yeah. 4 p.m. That's past their bedtime. They're so sleepy.
Like me. As Granny's chasing after them. He sees them and is like obviously upset that Saoirse's so sick. He's like, we got to get her to the hospital. And Ben is like, we need her coat. We have to get her the coat. And he's like, what are you talking about? I don't have time for like these stories. Uh, and they're on the boat in the storm, and the dad's like, I threw it away.
This is the part that I think I got really confused about the dad because I'm like, him throwing away the chest, I'm like, okay, he knows something. But
Yeah.
then we get to this point and he's not immediately. I actually thought the boat thing, he was like, okay, we're going to go into the ocean to get it. But he's like, she has to go to a hospital. I was like, what do you mean? You know what's going on.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, why wouldn't he leave? But I mean, but then I kind of thought he's probably rejected what's in front of him that is like, this is a mythological thing that's occurring. He's like, no, I
No.
need to take her to a hospital. Like she's just a human. Like surely she can't also be like her mom. Like I can't lose her. And so it's like he's rejecting the mythological for just like the human part.
Yeah.
Um, so like I was confused and I was like, okay, I guess I get it. I get it.
Yeah.
Complex emotions, you know.
Yeah. He's doing it's a very classic Irish repression tactic.
Right.
You
Yeah.
know, just
TM.
you
Irish
bottle it
repression
up.
tactic,
Yeah,
TM.
it doesn't exist. It's not happening. We're ignoring it. Uh
Yeah.
yeah. Uh and so Ben is like, I gotta get this coat. I gotta save her.
Yeah, because the dad is still like, no, we're going to the hospital. So he's rowing out there. And yeah, Ben's standing up, takes off his little vest. He's like, all right, here I go. And then boop, right off the end of the boat.
And I did feel real bad for the dad in that situation. I'm like, that is a
Yeah.
pretty
You
stressful
have a
parent
dying
situation.
child,
Yeah.
and then your other child who was fine just jumped off the boat. It's
Yeah.
like, what is a man to do?
Yeah. He's like, Koo, stay with Saoirse.
Yeah.
Poor Koo's like, I can't steer a boat.
I'm a
Yeah.
dog.
I'm a woof, woof, woof.
Woof, woof. They never
Or
would
as
ask
my little
Toto to
brother
do
would say,
this.
my little brother would go, arf, arf, arf. That's what he does.
Aw. So he Ben swims to the bottom of the ocean to try and find the coat. And obviously he's just a kid in the big ass sea. But
It's cold.
the seals are like, we got you. Here's the chest, here's the key. You unlock it. And he makes
And the coat
it
shall be free. We
the coat
finished the rhyme.
as he swims up with the coat, he starts to lose consciousness, but just in time, the seals get him just up enough so the dad can reach him and pull him out.
Yeah.
And he can be like, what are you thinking? And he can give her the coat. And she's not feeling any better. But this is when she says his name.
Yep.
Hmm.
And that's when, and I'll put on the screen, when I said the picture of me crying and be like, that moment when Saoirse's first word is Ben. Yeah, it's so, oh, I'm getting emotional thinking about it. It's really sweet. And this is where I thought it was going to be revealed that like him singing the Selkie song, like together with her, it's like, oh, it would be revealed that he is
Hmm.
also a Selkie and he also has his power. No, that's not what happens. But he does like teach her the song and encourage her to sing.
Yeah, because the mom wasn't able to train her, so she left the songs with
Yeah.
him, and he's able to pass them on to her.
Hmm.
Which even some of the fact that some of the songs are in Irish too is kind of a metaphor too for language and how
Yeah.
language can be beaten out or can be preserved by you pass it on.
Yeah.
Um, so basically like she is sick and she has to sing to heal. It's like she's got to sing, but she's so sick and he's gonna sing for her.
Mhm.
He's gonna teach her how. And as she starts to repeat him, it brings her to life evanescence.
Yeah. She has like a Sailor Moon transformation and
All
her
the
hair
swirling.
her hair kind
Yeah.
of it goes more red and it swirls,
Yeah.
like the top of an ice cream cone.
Yeah. I was gonna say she gets Dole Whip hair. Yeah.
Yeah. Yep, yep, yep.
Uh, and she floats up and sings the Song of the Sea, her Selkie song. and you see all the fairy creatures being freed from their rocks and their stones, and fairy musicians playing music. Even Man and McLear, the big rock that they're on,
Yeah.
awakes and opens kind of the portal to the other world. It's like this big aurora of like golden light. And mommy comes by, Bronna, and she comes to say goodbye and to take Saoirse with her potentially, but it's
Yeah.
like, or I can take, because they're like, we don't, like Ben is like, no, don't take her. Like I can't lose her. I mean, she loves Ben too much. That was her first word was his name, you
Yeah.
know?
I
And
this part did confuse me. I'm like, why did she have to go? Like,
Because she's Fae. So if all the
mhm,
Fae are going to the other world, it's very
yeah,
like Lord of the Rings. Everyone who like all the elves have to go
yeah.
to the
yeah.
west.
But it's like, but isn't it supposed to happen every Halloween? And then isn't there supposed to be a Selkie singing then? So like, isn't there just always a Selkie?
Yeah, this is
Right.
where I was a little bit like, what has made it different that now they
Yeah.
all have to leave, especially if Maka
Yeah,
isn't like some evil witch who changed things. I'm
yeah,
like, is it industrialization? I was like, is it like that the world is modern and they need to like
yeah.
depart? Is it just it's time, like in Lord of the
Because
Rings,
it's
or
not like they didn't revert back from being stone to their creature self again. It's like, nope, their spirit went away, and you're like, oh, so they died. You know?
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I think like because when she played the notes for those three Fae, like their heads turned back, So I kept thinking like, oh, they're all gonna come back to life.
yeah.
Yeah.
They're like, nope,
So
everybody.
it's their spirits kind of get released. I wonder if it's like,
They've been stoned too long.
mm, yeah, well that, but also I think is it that that there are no more Selkies and technically Saoirse was the last one, but she was half Selkie, and so she gets the choice that like she can go
Hmm.
with the Fae, or she can give up being Fae and be human and stay with this family that she does know and trust.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So but yeah, it's not clear,
yeah,
but
because
I like
Maka also goes, and she was.
yeah.
It's not like she was stone. She was alive, and so, but for
Yeah.
her to also go, it's like it did seem like they were pulling everybody.
It's like this is a roll call. It's like we got to
Yeah.
get out of here for some reason. I like your thought maybe about like industrialization.
They're like,
Mhm.
we see COVID coming and we can't deal with that.
Not
Climate
again.
change is that bad. We're not,
Yeah,
Yeah,
we're,
in fact, not reversible. You guys are just going to deal with it, and we're going to go to the spirit plane because we don't
mhm.
yeah.
want to be here to deal with it. That's not fair to us. We
Yeah.
did our duty, and you guys fucked it up, you know.
Yeah. It's also because a similar thing happens at the end of the Prydain Chronicles, Black Cauldron, Back Baby, where all the magical beings have to go to like the summer country. And it's
Mm,
just like, it's time. Magic time is done. Modern time
mm,
is in. Uh,
yeah. The rise of
so
the rise of oh my God, what is it? What are we calling it? Uh,
fascism, AI,
no, the type of capitalism we're in.
late stage
Late
capitalism.
stage capitalism. It's late stage capitalism is here. We gotta get out, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is like, okay, it's just like it's time to go. It's also maybe because it's an Irish movie and they can't have an unequivocal happy ending. It's got to be at least a little sad.
Right, right, right,
Yeah.
right.
I call it the Irish melancholia.
Well, like
Irish
the
Melancholia
music, the
TM.
music that was playing, like when they were, I think it was when they were coming back and trying to race back to the island, and just like the Irish music, and as they're walking through the land, it did make me think like, man, Irish music is so beautiful, but it is so sad. It's just
Yeah.
so sad sounding. I love it so much.
Or all their wars are merry and all their songs are sad. She has to say goodbye, and Saoirse gets to choose. And Saoirse chooses to stay with her family, and the magic part of her, the coat, is taken away. Um,
It poofs.
it poofs.
It poofs.
Bronix says goodbye, and the other world closes, but the family has been healed. The dad has awoken.
Hmm.
It's like he was
Grandma
sleepwalking.
has Grandma has come around. She's like, I'm so sorry.
She's like, it's gonna be okay. She's like, we're gonna
Yeah.
be okay. And we cut to like this kind of credits, post credits scene where it's like they're swimming in the water with the seals. He can swim now. He's no longer
Yeah.
scared.
Hmm.
And they have his birthday party and she shoves his face into the cake and they
Yep.
laugh. And it's all kind of like, well, you did that. So you opened the door, buddy.
And
Hmm.
I think, Michael, you said that like if there wasn't so much tension when that first happened, like that would be a funny thing. Like that would just be their
Hmm.
tradition or something, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like now it actually can be because they've resolved
Hmm.
that tension. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was cute.
Yeah.
Uh, the biggest fantasy that movies sell us, families resolving their trauma.
Yeah.
Uh,
Generational trauma too. If grandma's getting
Yeah.
involved, that's not possible. Sorry.
Hmm.
Selkies I can believe, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
What I
Mm-mm.
did love about the end scene though is that the ferryman was there, and I was like, the grandma and ferryman, did
yeah,
they get together?
I mean, hey.
yeah. The ferryman who is like seals don't usually come this close,
Hmm.
but they were
Like they
coming
Yes.
haven't been
close for a
around for
second.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, and also
but
Ferryman who called her a witch
yeah,
Yeah.
earlier. So that's also fun. It's like
I
enemies
love
to
it.
lovers.
Yeah, yeah,
in the
yeah.
back, that
I
right,
was
that's your
shipping them.
write your next romantasy book. Enemies to lovers, the grandma. Yeah.
Grandma and the
Hmm.
Ferryman.
Yeah.
We don't usually do a separate section on vibes and aesthetic anymore but I was going off of the old notes. And I was like, I love the notes we had for the music of Secret of Kells were Celtic and a little spooky. And I was like, true. And
Yeah.
then same for the visuals, brilliant, beautiful, and unique. So well done. Yep.
Hmm.
Yeah, the music in this is definitely more somber and very
Yeah.
lullaby-like, which I think
Hmm.
makes sense,
Yeah.
but
Lulling
Yeah.
me. Yeah.
lulling Cullen to sleep,
Hmm.
lulling Koo to sleep. Um, but yeah, the music, like now that you've pointed out, like every single song, even if it was more of like a happier, energetic moment, there's still like a somberness to it, and that's really
Hmm.
interesting. It's
Yeah.
really beautiful. Yeah, I mean the visuals, really gorgeous. The world building also really fun.
They're
Yeah.
able to do a whole like fairy world without it getting too. Oh, and this is what a pixie, and this is a sprite, and this is a like. It's just like we got the Selkie. They have a role, and everything else is a lot more like visual.
Yes,
Hmm.
yeah, for
And
sure.
I liked seeing it in a contemporary setting. Like that was fun.
Yeah,
Mhm.
That you had the fairies, but they're in the middle of a, street
yeah,
They're
in the
coming out of
city. And yeah.
a sewer grate that says "feck off" on
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You have Shanaki, and he's like under in a cave underwater question mark. But
Yeah,
it was something that was under a structure.
yeah.
Yeah, it was neat.
yeah. Which is very like again like the blending of the modern and the mythic, and just kind of adapting. Like we're gonna move the freeway so we don't cut down this tree that's a fairy tree. We're gonna
Hmm.
respect the mound. That
Could
shows
never
it
be
is.
here.
Yeah, it shows it is possible to modernize and respect traditions.
Yeah, look at that.
Do we root for our protagonist, Ben?
Yeah, I mean, what his main journey ends up being, I want to save my sister.
Yeah.
How
Hmm.
do you not root for that, you know? And also I think he's obviously on his own little personal journey of grieving and becoming a better brother, you know.
Yeah.
He grows a lot being reminded of how he wanted to be a big brother and his mom knew he was going to be a good big brother, but for those circumstances, he ended up losing sight of that and but he was able to
Yeah.
come back to that. So yeah, of
He
course.
stops seeing her as the person who took his mother away and sees her as like a piece of his mother
Yes.
that he and then someone
Hmm.
he can share the stories with, which is what she wanted. She wanted to do stuff with him. She
Hmm.
wanted him to read the story. Uh,
She wanted to build a snowman, if you will, in
yes.
some form or another.
Yeah.
Not exactly, but yeah.
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 We also see him painting murals with the dad at the end too. So like the
Yeah.
dad has kind of picked up that tradition.
Oh, and
Mm.
they did have some in the fairy mound when they were crawling through, like as he was
Yeah.
crawling through to try to chase after Saoirse and the fairies. Like they showed some of those imagery
Oh,
like on the wall in the pipe.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
details in the movie.
Hmm.
And I like that our antagonist, again, isn't just some like grumpy evil witch. She like ties into the metaphor of grieving and grief.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and also that like her son, what's the name again?
McLear.
McClare, yeah.
McClare. So
Hmm.
he is sort of the mythological stand-in for the dad,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
Maka is Granny. And so it's like that's layered and that gets resolved, and so then the human story gets resolved too. Um,
Hmm.
yeah, I think I just really like how they're using the mythological world to heal this human family. Like you see both resolve and yeah, I also agree that like the antagonist like isn't like an Ursula, isn't like a like this is a character who could have a child that would be perfectly fine redeemed in that Disney Channel original movie series.
Oh,
The
Descendants.
Descendants, right? This could be a perfectly fine, redeemable child, and also parent because, she's not abusing children.
Yeah.
She's taking people's emotions out of a good cause. Like she
Yeah.
thinks she's healing the world. She's just misguided. She's not, like I said,
Hmm.
abusing children. So
Yeah.
yeah, I do like that. I also think it makes the story more complicated, especially if it's more of a children's story that things are way more nuanced in real life. And I think this is a perfect story to also to show kids that like your big bad may have a good reason. Like you get to empathize with them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, I love that.
And it's not just because like Dalmatians pushed her mom off a cliff, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah. It wasn't that it was a retcon backstory.
Yeah.
No, I love that they made her like bigger than she really was, like physically, just like she was like this giant owl lady, and
Yeah.
the way that like the feelings interacted with her and stuff, like it gave like a sort of a Ghibli vibe of like slightly creepy, and like exaggerated. But then at the end, when she came down, she like distilled down to like a little human lady.
Yeah.
A little smaller, like when she went up to Searsha after, be like, oh, I'm so sorry, like she was normal sized and everything. um and it made her more real, I feel like, than just something that could have been imagined in Ben's head. And so I liked that she was it was a bit scary, like when you go in and you're afraid of what she could be, what she could do. um but then he was able to resolve that with Saoirse. I don't know, it gave it that human touch to it, I think.
Yeah. It kind of reminded me of The Witch of the Waste when you said Ghibli in
Mm,
Howl's Moving Castle because she's like so
yeah.
Yes.
big and then she
Hmm.
gets kind of small and yeah.
Hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess it's time for the big question. Hannah, was that your fantasy?
Yes. I loved this movie and I think this is a world I would want to live in. This is a little adventure I'd want to live out. Um, I have a little brother, and so if he turned out to be some sort of mythological creature that is the key to saving all of mythological creatures, I'm obviously going to go on this journey and help him,
Yeah.
and learn some stuff about myself along the way.
Yeah. Maiko?
It was my fantasy. Loved it. Love the world. Love all of it. Selkies are the best. Also, it looked cold though, so maybe not
Yeah.
forever.
Yeah, right.
It's cold, yes. It's a lot of cold water.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a lot of cold water. But no, I loved it. I think it's such a sweet story, and the world does look fun, and the art is just so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say it's my fantasy because it is just like I love that the movie just looks so cool and that it's so artsy and yet you're not lost to where we are in time and space.
Mm,
And I feel like it even perfected kind of like it's different than Secret of Kells and it's like a more modernized and like it just like really perfected some of the style tools there that it kind of like just musically and visually all kind of feels so seamless.
mm,
And I love the story. I love a selkie. The seals were so cute. I love the fey creatures. This is an adventure. Who doesn't want to save the world and heal their family trauma? You know?
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm
Hmm.
not gonna put my hand up because I want to do that. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, please.
I mean, I
Uh,
think this movie too, like what was nice about it compared to Secret of Kells is like this is much, I would say much more family friendly. Secret of
Yeah,
Kells, a little bit death and destruction and in there, some
with the
war.
Vikings. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Because I
yeah.
remember us
So,
talking about that sequence being very scary the way that's animated.
hmm.
Um, Pretty intense. This
Yeah.
is a lot more mellow for sure. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
a cozy fantasy, as the kids would say. So Michael, is there anything you want to plug?
Animation, 2D
Yeah.
animation's great, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
More of that.
A
I
shout
love
out for
2D,
that.
but I mean the artistic stylings of 2D, I don't think you can beat.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's so unique. Especially with like them playing with perspective, but it's still being very flat, but you're still able to see layers. And I think it challenges
Hmm.
your brain in kind of a fun way, like what you're looking at. Um,
Yeah. I like that in the credits it also showed like some of the viz dev and character design and stuff. So like you saw some of the creating of the
Yeah.
story and the art that went into it. Yeah, I love that.
yeah, for sure. Well, yeah. Well, thank you so much for being on again for
Yeah.
another amazing episode.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
Hannah, where can you find the podcast?
People can find us on Instagram. We are at Not My Fantasy Pod. If you are watching on YouTube, hi, hello, you can.
Smash that like button like they smash those emotional jars with their music.
Yes, love that. Yeah, so definitely like the video, hit the subscribe button, and hit the bell so you get notified anytime we drop another video episode. And in the comments, I mean, we want to know what you think of this movie. What else?
Would you date a selkie?
Oh, fascinating.
A-
Okay.
And would you
Date.
take, because it's like, are you going to take the coat? What if they offer the
No,
coat? What if they
like,
freely are like,
sure.
here, keep my coat?
Keep my coat because I want to stay for a while. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
because consent is sexy,
Consent is
right?
sexy. Yeah.
So that's enthusiastic consent right there.
Or
And
if you
they,
could shapeshift into a marine mammal, which would you choose?
okay, I'm not gonna lie. I think that I love selkies, and I think maybe I would want to be a selkie. I used to be a mermaid girl, and I'm like, you know what? Being full human and then going full seal, come on, that's awesome.
Best of
Yeah.
both worlds.
Best of
Yeah.
both worlds. That's what Hannah Montana was singing about. Yeah.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah, you can find us on Instagram and the TikTok. Not anymore. Actually, wait, we're no
Where are you,
TikTok.
Cullen? Where are
No,
you on social media? Because I think that's the part that we're at.
that's you can find me at Cullen Ever After
Yeah.
on Instagram. And I guess I still have a blue sky.
And, you know, perhaps maybe after this movie, it'll change to whoever after.
Whoever.
I love that
Whoever.
your dad is now just like, that is your nickname and technically has been forever. Like, I love that. That it's like
Yeah.
retconned. Perfect.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yep. It's like when you get a new writer's room. Yeah. Yeah, and so we're doing a few more movies on Irish folklore, and I believe it's not set in stone when this is happening, but I believe most likely our next journey will be meeting the goddess Bridget and the Saint Bridget, and another queen in her own right, Lindsay Lohan.
Okay, because I was like, wait, what movie are we talking about? And then, yeah, got it. All
Yeah,
right, awesome.
not officially scheduled, but the guest is interested, so that's the next like
It's
that's
coming up,
coming
you
up.
know. Yeah.
But yeah, keep enjoying your March and we'll see you back in Ireland.
Yes. Bye, listeners.
Bye.